Let's talk about a situation every homeowner eventually faces. Your HVAC system stops working. Maybe it's July and your house is heating up fast, and maybe it's January and you woke up to freezing air blowing through the vents. Either way, it's never convenient, and the first thing that most people think is, how much is this going to cost me? Because HVAC repairs aren't cheap. I don't know if you know that or not. A small repair might be a few $100s, but if you're dealing with a failed compressor, a blower motor, or a control board, you could be looking at well over $1,000. And if the system needs to be replaced, that can climb from $5,000 to $10,000 easily, depending on the size of your home. So what happens if you have a home membership? What do you have to do? Let's walk through step by step what you've got to do. First thing that happens is your system stops working. You don't do that, but that happens to you. There's no special number that you have to call before getting help. You don't have to wait for someone to assign you a contractor. You don't have to sit in a queue hoping for approval before a technician can diagnose the issue. You just call the HVAC company that you trust. That's one of the biggest differences with home membership. You choose your own licensed service provider, and if you already have somebody that you've used before, great. And if not, you can find someone local with good reviews. The choice is yours. That technician comes out and diagnoses the problem. Let's say it's a bad blower motor or a control board. Maybe it's the compressor or whatever it is. They're going to explain that issue to you, and they're going to tell you what it's going to take to fix it. And this is where you being prepared really matters. If you've looked at your home membership coverage chart ahead of time, you already know what components are covered and what the reimbursement limits are. There's no guessing in the moment. There's no trying to decide the fine print when your house is getting hotter by the hour. That technician completes that repair just like they normally would. And then now let's talk about the payment. You've got flexibility here. You can pay the technician directly and then submit the invoice to home membership for reimbursement. Or if the repair is larger and you'd rather not pay up front, your service provider can submit the invoice directly to home membership. And there's no waiting for days for pre-authorization before the work can begin. The focus is on getting your home comfortable again first. Once the invoice is submitted and approved, reimbursement is issued according to the coverage chart. And that's important. It's based on clear published coverage amounts. Home membership lays out what's covered for the parts and for the labor, along with any applicable service fees, so you're not surprised after the fact. You know ahead of time what the maximum coverage looks like for the major HVAC components. The typical covered components often include things like the compressor, the condenser, evaporator coil, blower motor, control boards, heat strips. These are the parts that tend to fail due to normal wear and tear, and they're also the ones that can get expensive quickly and add up. Of course, like any warranty, there are limitations. Pre-existing conditions aren't covered, lack of maintenance isn't covered, but mechanical failure from normal use, that's exactly what this plan is for. Now, let's zoom out for a second. One of the biggest frustrations that homeowners have had with traditional home warranty companies isn't necessarily the coverage itself, it's that process. It's the long hold times, the assigned contractors that you've never heard of, the waiting for approvals before repairs can even start. Home membership works differently. You stay in control, you choose who works on your home, repairs aren't delayed by a complicated approval chain, and reimbursement is based on that coverage chart that you can review anytime. You could review it right now if you wanted to. That changes the experience, because when your HVAC system fails, you don't want to be dealing with extra stress. You just want your home comfortable again. HVAC systems don't last forever. Most systems have a lifespan somewhere between 10 and 15 years, depending on the maintenance and the usage. And as they age, all of those little parts, they begin to fail. And it's not really a maybe, it's a when. The real question is whether you'll be financially and logistically prepared when it happens. With home membership, the process is easy. You call your technician, you get the problem diagnosed, you complete the repair, you submit the invoice, you receive reimbursement, and it's straightforward. There's no scrambling to figure out what's covered. There's no wondering who's allowed to work on your home. There's no sitting in a hot or freezing house waiting on paperwork. That HVAC failure is stressful on its own. The claims process doesn't have to be stressful, and that's really the point of this video, because systems are going to break, and that's just part of owning a home. But having a plan in place can make a frustrating situation a lot more manageable. If you'd like more information about home membership, go to homemembership.com and read all about it, and check out the coverage chart and sign up today.